The great wars of the 20th century, colossal conflicts that reshaped the world, were, in many ways, fought over oil. It was black gold that fueled the engines of power, driving economies and dictating geopolitical strategies. Control of this resource meant control of nations. Today, a new conflict is emerging, a silent war fought not on battlefields of mud and trenches, not with tanks and artillery but with batteries and technological prowess. Lithium is rapidly becoming the new oil, powering everything from the smartphones in our pockets to the electric vehicles promising a cleaner future. The question is no longer simply who controls the flow of oil, but who controls the extraction, processing, and distribution of lithium. One nation, China, has quietly and strategically positioned itself at the very center of this emerging new world order. The battle is fought not with bullets, but with intricate supply chains, strategic investments in key resources and technologies, and carefully crafted industrial policy designed for long-term dominance. It's a war fought with economics, not armies. China saw the electric future early on, recognizing the pivotal role batteries would play, and moved aggressively to control the essential materials that make the electric revolution possible. This is an economic struggle for global dominance, a high-stakes game, with the stakes set incredibly high, at the very heart of the global green transition and the future of energy. As demand for lithium explodes exponentially, driven by the insatiable need for batteries, every government, from local municipalities to national administrations, and every tech giant, from Silicon Valley startups to established multinational corporations, is scrambling desperately for a secure supply, only to find that China already holds the keys to much of the lithium kingdom. Beijing has quietly but deliberately built a lithium empire, not just by directly owning the mines themselves, although they have been active in acquisitions, but more importantly, by mastering each and every step that transforms raw material, the lithium ore, into usable battery power. This is a new kind of resource power, a strategic advantage built on technological prowess, subtle in its application but perhaps even more potent and far-reaching than oil ever was. Have we inadvertently traded our historical dependence on the volatile oil fields of the Middle East for an equally precarious reliance on Chinese lithium? The war for lithium, though largely unseen, has already quietly begun, and many governments and industries are only just now realizing with a growing sense of urgency that they are already on the economic battlefield. Lithium, often called white gold, a moniker that reflects its rising value and importance in the modern world. It is prized not for beauty, like precious metals such as gold or platinum, but for its unmatched utility in powering our increasingly electric world. As the lightest metal on the periodic table, it stores and releases energy with remarkable efficiency, with incredible efficiency, a characteristic that makes it indispensable for modern battery technology. This makes it the undisputed king of battery chemistry, the element that reigns supreme in the realm of portable power. Without lithium-ion batteries, which have become ubiquitous in our daily lives, our portable electronics revolution, the one that has put the world at our fingertips, would have stalled, remaining a distant dream rather than a tangible reality. Now, the global push, the urgent and necessary drive to fight climate change and transition to a sustainable future, has made lithium even more critical, elevating its status to an essential resource for the 21st century. Electric vehicles, the cornerstone of sustainable transportation, with batteries containing a substantial amount of lithium, as much lithium as 10,000 smartphones, highlighting the sheer scale of demand, are driving demand sky high, creating a surge in the need for this vital element. By 2030, just a few short years away, the world will need an unprecedented amount of lithium, at least 5 times more lithium than current production levels can provide than it produces today, a gap that must be filled to meet the growing demand. Lithium is also essential, playing a crucial role for grid-scale energy storage, enabling us to capture and store renewable energy, stabilizing renewable power and ensuring a reliable energy supply from sun and wind, sources that are inherently intermittent. Every major energy storage project, every ambitious plan to harness renewable energy needs tons of high-purity lithium, underscoring its importance in the energy transition. Lithium is now a strategic asset, a resource of paramount importance, central to the largest industrial transformation the world has seen in a century, a shift towards a cleaner, more sustainable future. Nations that secure lithium, that establish a reliable supply chain, will lead in EVs, dominating the electric vehicle market, batteries, becoming global leaders in battery technology and energy systems, shaping the future of energy production and distribution. Those who don't will be left behind, facing economic stagnation, dependent on others for critical resources and technologies, for the technologies of the future, hindering their own progress and innovation. The race for white gold is on, a global competition for resources and technological supremacy, and the outcome will shape global power dynamics, influencing geopolitical relationships for generations to come, determining who leads and who follows in the electric age. The world's richest lithium reserves, the very foundation of our modern electric aspirations, aren't in China, a nation now synonymous with electric vehicle dominance. Instead, they lie high in South America's Andes, a majestic and challenging landscape. Specifically, within the lithium triangle of Bolivia, a region brimming with untapped potential. Argentina, another key player in this resource-rich area, and Chile, home to the Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth, yet abundant in lithium. These salt flats, shimmering under the intense sun, hold over half the planet's lithium, a critical element for batteries. Yet the region struggles, facing a complex web of challenges that hinder its ability to turn this wealth into real power, to truly capitalize on this geological gift. Political instability, a recurring theme in the region's history. Environmental concerns, particularly regarding water usage and ecosystem disruption and limited processing capacity, have left a gap, a void waiting to be filled. China stepped in, recognizing the strategic importance of this resource, not as a conqueror seeking to extract and exploit, but as a partner, offering collaboration and mutual benefit, at least on the surface. With capital, ready to invest in infrastructure and development, expertise, bringing technical know-how and skilled labor to the table, and a guaranteed market, a voracious demand for lithium to fuel its booming electric vehicle industry. Mining rights, gaining access to the source of this precious resource, and joint ventures, forging partnerships that intertwine their fates. The result, a complex and often unbalanced relationship. South America provides the raw material, the foundation upon which the electric revolution is built, but China captures the real value, the lion's share of the economic benefits. Further down the supply chain, where raw materials are transformed into high-value products, raw lithium is shipped to Chinese refineries across vast oceans, where it's upgraded into battery-grade chemicals, the lifeblood of electric vehicles and energy storage systems. China doesn't own the mines, not in the traditional sense, but it controls the gate, the critical point of access to the global lithium market, through which all the treasure must pass, a strategic choke point in the global supply chain. The lithium triangle bears the environmental and social costs, the burden of extraction and its consequences, while China dominates the profits and power, reaping the rewards of its strategic investments. This is the paradox, a stark contrast between resource ownership and value capture. Owning the resource isn't enough in today's interconnected and complex global economy. Control lies in processing and refining and transforming raw materials into valuable components. The world's lithium flows through China, a testament to its strategic foresight and industrial prowess, making it the true power behind the electric revolution, the engine driving the transition to a sustainable future. The global balance of power is being redrawn, shifting with the flow of resources and technological innovation, one shipment at a time as the world races towards an electrified future. China's lithium dominance is no accident, it's the result of a deliberate, decades-long strategy. While the West focused on oil, Beijing targeted the materials of the next industrial age. Chinese firms bought stakes in mines from Australia to Argentina, ensuring a steady flow of raw lithium. But the real masterstroke was building a world-leading refining industry, turning raw material into battery-grade chemicals at scale. Massive subsidies and streamlined approvals gave China a cost and capacity edge. The final piece integrating mining, refining, and battery manufacturing into a seamless supply chain. Giants like CATL and BYD now supply batteries to the world, powered by China's lithium empire. This industrial symbiosis is the backbone of China's global power in the electric age. The true genius of China's strategy is its grip on refining the least glamorous but most critical link in the chain. Over 70% of the world's battery-grade lithium is refined in China. Even countries with their own mines, like Australia, depend on Chinese refineries. If Beijing restricted access, global battery production would grind to a halt. Building rival refining capacity is slow, expensive, and faces environmental hurdles in the West. China's head start in refining means it sets the price and pace of the green transition. Automakers worldwide are, in effect, customers of China's chemical industry. The uncomfortable truth: the road to a battery-powered future currently runs through Beijing. Western governments are only now waking up to the strategic implications. Breaking free from this refining chokehold will be a monumental challenge. The U.S. watched as China built its lithium empire, only realizing the risk when trade tensions rose. With just one operational lithium mine and almost no refining, the U.S. faces a daunting catch-up game. The Inflation Reduction Act aims to shift supply chains away from China, offering incentives for domestic and allied production. Billions are being invested in new mines and refineries, but progress is slow. Permitting, environmental reviews, and local opposition can delay projects for years. Even if new mines open, the U.S. lacks the technical workforce and infrastructure for large-scale refining. China's centralized system allows it to build and scale at a speed the West can't match. It may take a decade or more for the U.S. to rival China's dominance. The race is on, but the gap is wide, and the stakes are nothing less than industrial competitiveness. The clock is ticking. The electric revolution promises a cleaner world, but lithium mining leaves scars. In South America, extracting lithium from brine consumes vast amounts of water, threatening indigenous communities and fragile ecosystems. In Australia and the U.S., hard rock mining creates massive pits, waste, and pollution risks. Local communities often bear the environmental burden while profits flow elsewhere. Under China's rapid expansion, environmental standards can be overlooked, amplifying damage. Western efforts to enforce higher standards slow production and raise costs, making clean lithium harder to source. The cleanest lithium is often the most expensive, entrenching the dominance of less regulated supply chains. The true cost of the electric future is paid in water, land, and community well-being. The world faces a crossroads: resource wars or technological breakthroughs. As nations scramble for lithium, geopolitical tensions could escalate, with China leveraging its dominance as a political weapon. The West may struggle to build alternative supply chains, but there's another path: innovation. Researchers are racing to develop new battery chemistries like sodium-ion that could bypass lithium entirely. A breakthrough could upend the market and dismantle China's empire overnight. This is the West's best chance leapfrog with new technology instead of playing catch-up in mining and refining. But innovation takes time, investment, and a willingness to fail. The next decade will be a contest between China's industrial might and the West's potential for disruption. The outcome will decide who leads the electric revolution and what powers our future. The chemistry of tomorrow could rewrite the rules of global power. We're racing toward an electric future, but its foundation is built on lithium, controlled by a single rival and extracted at great cost. Every new EV and battery deepens a strategic dependency on China. A supply chain controlled by one nation is not true independence. The pace, price, and stability of our energy transition could be dictated from Beijing. The real question: what are we willing to sacrifice for a greener world? The story of lithium is a cautionary tale, about power, foresight, and the hidden costs of progress. The silent war for lithium will define our era. The future will be forged in lithium. Who will hold the hammer, and who will be the anvil?